This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into the Sports Drive, everyone. Again, I'm your host for today, Riley Robinson. And I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're going to chat a little bit of flag football because one of our very own Hereford native, Jadion High, has been officially named to the 12-man roster of USA flag football team. So now I have Jadion on with me now. First of all, congratulations are in order. Congrats, and thank you so much for joining us today to chat a little bit about it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Well, I know last time we spoke about a few months ago, you were hoping this day would come, obviously, to make this 12-man roster. This is what you'd been working towards. I know you guys had that workout in Charlotte before the roster officially came out. That was back in May. So tell me a little bit about that process, that workout you guys had, before the official 12-man roster came out.
Well, like a 3-day process thing. We showed up on, everybody got there on Thursday. I actually got stuck in Dallas for 14 hours because my flight got canceled. So I had to wait for them to give me another flight out. I showed up on Friday afternoon right before practice started, and we just scrimmaged, and they saw everything they wanted to see, watched the film. And then Saturday we did the same thing, did a couple of testing in the weight room, and then they decided on Sunday who made the roster.
And when you heard your name, kind of what were your initial reactions?
I was kind of like, I took back because I missed the whole day. I was like, man, everybody got a whole day ahead of me. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But we sat down there like, so you made the team. And I was like, man.
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, I appreciate it. Like, I don't even know like what to say. So.
Wow. So I know that had to be nerve-wracking, especially as you mentioned, you missing a full day. How many people were competing for a spot?
It was 18 on both sides, men's and women. So.
Okay. Well, now you made it. I know, big thing, you coming, from Hereford native here in the Panhandle, obviously went to Texas Tech, had a stellar career there as well. Just being from small town Hereford, the Texas Panhandle, being able to represent USA football on this big stage, I mean, kind of what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, coming from a small town, you don't think much people are watching, actually getting the opportunity to walk on at Tech as well and getting that opportunity. I mean, I figured from there, I was like, just keep on going, see what can happen. You never know.
And I know, just kind of looking, you're the PR person for you guys, since kind of like the little press release out, just saying some things about you. And I was reading over it, and something I found really interesting was it was your dad. He played flag football, kind of got you into it at a young age. Tell me a little bit about that time playing flag football with your dad and everything.
I only remember, I'll say, like the high school times. When I was in high school, we played together. But when I was real young, we would travel to, I think Amarillo was the furthest we would go. And I'd watch him play sometimes, several times throughout the week. He's playing with several different teams. And then as I got older, he finally started letting us play with him and away from high school football. When we were in the middle of summer, weren't doing nothing, we just played with him. It was fun. I always liked it, something to do and always something to compete at.
And then I know, too, just reading this over, kind of, you grew up, tell me a little bit about your time at Hereford, because here it says you grew up on a ranch. So I have to ask. So you grew up on a ranch in small town Hereford. Now you're on the 12-man roster. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing in Hereford.
I mean, yeah, I grew up on the outside of town. I didn't grow up in the city limits. So we had a ranch with horses, cows, we had pigs, chickens. Sometimes I had to get up in the morning, go bottle feed the calves and do stuff like that. Simple ranch work, I call it, cleaning out stables and stalls, plowing the fields, just tending ranch work. So.
And if to that little boy back then, living on the ranch, growing up as a ranch hand, if you were to tell him that one day you'd be on the 12-man roster for USA flag football, what do you think he would say?
I mean, the possibilities are endless. You never know what can happen. You just keep working hard, and things can just keep on falling in place like they need to.
And is that kind of the same advice you would give, any young kid from Hereford or just kind of anywhere in the area, wanting to chase their dreams? What would you tell them?
I would say keep working hard. the process. All the cards are falling into place. It's not always on your time. God will plan it out for you and make it happen when he needs to.
And now you're preparing for Finland coming up. I believe I saw it was August 27th through the 30th, the World Championships over there. Tell me a little bit about the rest of your summer workouts, everything of that sort leading up to those World Championships.
That's kind of what I've been doing. I mean, throughout the week, still preparing for the training camps, keep on running, lifting, doing the speed stuff and all of that. Going back to Charlotte at the end of July, I think, again, for another training camp. And then, just building off of that and keeping on going. Once August comes around, we should be ready.
And what will that training camp include when you guys go back to Charlotte?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I imagine more coordinated and getting organized, getting ready to figure out what plays and personnel and everything we're doing like that.
And looking at the roster, the rest of the roster, it's guys from different parts of the U.S. I mean, Florida, California, just everywhere. Kind of how great is it being from the Panhandle, being from Hereford, to be on a team with just guys basically from different walks of life, different places in the U.S.?
I mean, it's a good experience, I'll tell you that much. I mean, you see other great players from other places, the calibers all met together, and we're all getting together, being able to go compete for a gold medal. It's going to be a fun time.
And just speaking of competing for that gold medal, do you guys do a lot of scouting? Kind of how do you know how the tournament or other teams are going to be when you get there?
I imagine that they'll go over that more when we go back. They really haven't said anything about it yet. I mean, I've heard a couple of things about some of the teams and how good they are and that to be ready for the competition, because it's not like American tackle football. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much a base level field of competition when it comes down to it, because everybody can play the sport.
And something else I saw that was really interesting, I wanted to go back to this press release that they sent out about you. I really liked, so the one part of your name, this J. Deion, from Deion Sanders. So was your dad, are you all a huge Deion Sanders fan there?
He was, yeah, big time. He'd always yell out prime time all the time when I was playing in high school from the stand. So
I know. I love just learning little facts like that. That's pretty cool. Because, I mean, obviously it's spelled like Deion, but I would have never known that was, after Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, J. Deion, we're wishing you nothing but the best of luck, safe travels, best luck training throughout the summer, going back to Charlotte, and then obviously heading into those World Championships come the end of August.
I appreciate the support. It means a lot. Trust me. It means a lot.
Of course. And thank you so much for coming on, taking the time out of your day. We really appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good day.
Of course. And we'll be right back on the Sports Drive.